That's
what
with
workers they got there?
the JSS sub.
We'll
Jones.
go ahead and let it eat again.
Almost 9 p.m. our time. Oh yeah, like 3 hours.
Yeah, it's about 3 hours. Well, we appreciate every single one of you guys for joining us. Even though we tried to shoot it a little bit earlier,
Yeah.
it just, I think 5:30. If we set it for 5:30, 6:30, you know who's counting?
This is
I'm
our
not.
normal time. It's just
The JSS is cheating. I'm gonna just say it like that. I'm gonna just put it out there. I don't know what Tony did to this sub, but it is not stock.
Hey, you saw it. It is.
Well, technically, I don't know what a stock one looks like. It might be fixed up.
No.
You know.
What's up, boys and girls? We're just watching.
We got Mr. Steve Barber in the house. Once we get done with this deal. Yeah, we were trying to, Steve, but the problem is we go on vacation next week, Monday through Sunday. So we need to get as many of these subs out of here. If not, we're not going to be able to attend the showdown. And you know that's not a thing. So we need to bust these things out.
yeah, we tried. He's been working since 4, trying to get it in, and
I've been trying to get it in, and she just ain't giving it to me, is what I'm saying. We're about 68 degrees. We'll go ahead and stop yapping, and we will smack it with 8,000. Mr. Tommy Eugene says that he owns a transport company. We might have to get with you to kind of see what we can possibly. Do you ever travel from Vegas to the East Coast? Or no, Mr. Tommy? Well, I'm asking him for finals. Maybe you can help us out.
Oh, no,
I can't. No, literally, it's one thing or the other. 94.17 with 0 watts. And here we go. 8,000 watts. 8,000 watts. Climbed up to about 125.
I mean, there's another company.
178.65.
But it's not. It's like there's such.
We're letting the thing flap along.
It's the other. It almost helps because people see the MTI product. They make it really beautiful. It's very different looking.
That is in that track 15. So that is
$2,000 box. And they look at our $2,000 box. And they're like, which $2,000 one do I want to buy? Do I really want to buy a $2,000 one? You know what I mean? It's like they go, which one am I gonna do?
Seems like the PF is going up. That's good. It's getting more efficient, is what I'm saying.
What's up, Blake? What's up, Cam?
And this is a 4-inch coil, yes.
Even Michael.
So double the power, we gained what, 1.2 dB?
Mm-hmm.
And we gained about 1.2.
What is it at now?
It's just, I think this thing's pretty loud for that power so far.
Yeah, with a 4-inch coil,
right
better. I feel like my Relentless would do really well in that, but
right below the DD818.
God damn, I only got
Sweet baby Jesus. What spot is that? Is that number 8?
Hold on, I'm gonna mute.
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yours is a 4-inch as well, right, Bobby?
It's in the 8 spot.
Yeah. But it's, the carbon cone's really light, and it's got a pretty mighty coil and a super close gap. Super close gap.
Papa Fuller is
So I don't know. Hi, Drew.
What's up?
No matter what time they come out.
We were just killing some dead time before we started with Carlos's stream.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
So what does he bring? He lets it come back down to a certain temperature before he sends it again?
And he will not.
Yeah, like 65.
If we don't make that. We got Mr. John Hart with audio.
What sub is this?
JSS 600 ounce.
Oh yeah.
It keeps getting louder and louder. The phone's like, you're trying to mute me, but it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
Blake said it's running into compression now. I didn't see the earlier numbers.
I think we can get at least another 5 dB.
You were talking 30,000 watts.
I was talking 30,000. I just don't know if the PTSD from the scar is gonna let me take it that far. But
Yeah,
get in,
dude, that
you know, might
Scar
get
killing
that
2 of their
extra
fucking amps.
click or two.
Fun.
I remember.
Says 179.8.
The essay
But look how loud it was, all the Scar boys were saying.
for the essay.
Were they really?
Oh yeah, that's what it did. 79.
How loud was it? It wasn't super
It
impressive.
wasn't that loud.
No, but they were talking about how
John Hart equals.
it was louder
I'm
than
actually glad that
there was
he
some
said
a couple Scarboy posts about it. But like,
There's
look
a
how
few
loud
more
one sub
companies,
is. Blah 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 blah.
that we're gonna
I had a
hop on board
customer
on this
call
once more,
earlier
but,
asking about
we still
us
need to
doing
send
some
it over with
install,
one
and he
of
was
these
telling
days.
us he had the gear.
We'll try.
And I was
but
like, oh, that's cool.
it doesn't seem to be
I mean, I'm
happening.
like, I'm a little
Every
picky
time
about
we
what
think
gear
we're
we
done with
will
this project,
install.
they just add a
Yeah.
little bit more.
What do you have? And he was like, I have a Scar. And I was like, hold on, stop. I was like, I'm not installing any Scar gear at all. He was like, no. And I'm all, oh, God, no. And he's like, is Scar not a good product? And I'm all, for the money,
No.
if you're lucky enough to have product that works, really the biggest thing about Scar is that the failure rate out of the box is very high. Really, that's in my experience of Scar things that I have seen in person. The failure rate's pretty high, which is to be expected. They have zero fucking quality control. You know what I mean? Like that's a thing that we pay for with our amps. It's like, all right, well, it's this much more for us to QC every single one of them. And it's like, yeah, do that. And they're like, okay, but and it's like fucking $10 more an amp. Well, okay, whoop-de-doo, right? Fucking goddamn 500 amps.
It adds up.
$5,000 more dollars. But when I hand them to customers, I know that they got fucking turned on and fucking powered up, and they verified that they work. So the likelihood of me having a customer have a sub that's fucking DOA or an amp rather that's DOA is very, very low.
Bobby, what is it like when you being an amp manufacturer, when you do have warranties, is that built into something you have with the company, or do you just buy extra amps? Like, or what do you do?
I bought a bunch of parts and I shipped them to our amp repair guy, who's the guy, Todd Willard, Ellensburg Amplifier Repair Service up in Washington. Okay. And we shipped the parts right to him. And like pretty much, they guarantee that all of them powered up and all the channels did what they were supposed to do before they shipped them to me.
Right. So let's say if one, I don't know if you've had it happen yet, but if an amp goes out and it wasn't user error, like what do you do? Do you repair it free?
I would report it to the manufacturer, to the build house, and say, hey, buddy, this is what I dealt with. And
will they credit you or something like that?
Probably, they probably would. I have had 4 damaged amplifiers of the 650 amplifiers that we've purchased so far. Every single one of them has been, like one, I was like, I'm going to blow this up on purpose. And Steve's like, really? I'm like, yes, I am. Watch me go. And fucking until I was like, oh, there it is. I broke it. What broke? Let's take a look, And then I had one that my cousin TiVo fucking connected everything and fucking powered that shit up and literally had the fucking the output leads taped together, positive negatives. This is like dead short turn on a 5700, which was awesome. Todd fixed that for us, and then Eddie did basically the exact same thing with one of the 5-channel amps. He had the leads like they were mushed under some carpet on the floor of his Tesla, and that was a dead short on startup on the sub channel. Todd also fixed that. And then I had a customer with a single battery, and we even laid out all of this shit for this young man. He was like 19 years old, and he came in and he bought our 4.8 box and he bought our 3900, and he jammed home and installed it all, and just had like 1/0 welding wire, fucking tech screw body ground to only one of the 1/0 input sets on our 3900. Single battery, single, like just like everything you could ask for to voltage drop, hurt something, and he hurt the amp. And then Todd's gonna fix that for us also. But the customer paid for it. Actually, he did pay for it, and he did get it repaired, and we gave it back to the customer. So, but yeah. But otherwise, I haven't had any of them have any kind of failure out of the box, or anybody report that it did something that it shouldn't have done. You know what I mean? Like we're running the 3900 in Bella's in Michael's daughter's build. We were running that thing at a quarter ohm, and we heard it with voltage drop. This is just a single little retro 30 in there, and then we. And it was the prototype, right? It was like I shipped in the proto because we didn't even have them yet. And it had like, you know, Todd was like, hey, this thing's got like some handmade custom shit going on in here. And I was like, yeah, that was the proto. He's like, He's like, and you guys are running this thing at a quarter. I was like, yeah, we didn't realize, but it was working so well that we just said, fuck it. And he's like, all right. When he fixed it and went back and it worked, and then it failed again pretty quickly. And so I just sent them a new one. I was like, well, now I have these now. And then Todd, I believe he has that one, and it's like for like spare parts. And then I was like, when you extract enough out of it, send me the heat sink and I'll screw it to the wall. So
there you go.
But yeah. Yep.
What are you doing, Drew? Texting?
All kind of stuff, dude. My messages never stop. Never. It's like I'll get messages at like, you know, it's only 8 o'clock right now, but 10, 11, midnight asking me box stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm not at my computer. Well, can you check? Brother, do you expect me to work all of the time? Or
yes, we do.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Do it.
Here you go, Bobby. So this is the back plate of the thing. I tried something different with it to make mounting a little easier because it comes in 2 pieces.
Yeah.
Put magnets in it. So like,
sick. Yeah,
it'll hold on. Yep. It's hot in here somehow.
Speaking of
overhead thingies like Drew has going on for like at my computer screen, or I could pick it up and carry it around with me. I got one right here. So remember we talked a little bit about the smell out of our printers and how we prop open the door and I put the exhaust fan on and all that shit. But it's like when it's super duper freezing cold outside, I don't want to open my door wide open, but I don't want to breathe cyanide either. So I open the door and freeze my ass off. But normally it's so fucking nice here lately that the door open is fucking awesome. But
hell yeah.
But we've been creating ducting, so we made.
Make sure where my other camera is at the second here.
Oh boy! We made these guys that snap on the back of the bamboo, and we made these guys that snap on to the exhaust vent duct that goes up out the roof of the building. That's connected to the laser, right? Because when I'm running the laser, I got to evacuate. That shit's like literal smoke and gnarly shit. So yeah. And then
that's dope.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And so hopefully we won't be fucking breathing cyanide anymore because, you know, it's just really not that cool.
Nice. I was going to talk about that little box Drew's building. Drew, why don't you tell people what that's for? Or Bob, you could tell them what it's for, what it does, because then that we could lead that into what we forgot to do on my build, since we use one of those.
Kind of want to die a little bit over that.
I've got one right here.
Like we look back and we go, man, that thing was pretty awesome on just 12 of those things, pretty much. So considering that fucking 24 of them were just canceling each other out for the most part.
Let me turn this one of these cameras.
Yeah, I mean, Drew can actually probably explain exactly what the heck was going on inside the software to make it what it was doing.
So the JL Marine amps, like this one, uses what's called Deutsch connectors for the speaker wire outputs, and it comes with connectors. So the JL car amps only have 2 RCA outputs, which is cool. You know, it's got a bunch of DSP power in it, and it runs at 96K. So it's got 2 RCA outputs. This 6-channel 8-channel, whatever. 6 has 6 RCA outputs along with the 6 speaker outputs, all 12 being DSP controlled because it doesn't need the extra processing power for high res, but it's a Marine amp. So what I figured out was, why don't we just use those as speaker wires, those speaker wires as DSP channels out to amps, like big amps, like we run. So I did all the research, talked with a bunch of guys at JL and some other people, figured out what had to happen to make it work, because you have to flip some wiring. Depending on how, we can get back into it later as to why, but you got to flip wiring or you'll blow shit up, possibly. So I've made this little box that the Deutsch connector plugs into, and it gives you RCA outputs, 2 RCAs per channel, like a bass amp would need 2 RCAs in. So that's what this just turns Deutsch connector, make some wiring changes in here, and then you plug in your amps here. One of those wiring changes involves flipping the polarity of every other channel. So you have to do that in the tune software to correct for that flip. You don't have to. It's not going to hurt anything if you don't. You'll just have subpar performance. So you make that flip, and then you correct it later if you have to while tuning or whatever. So, and you drop the output level of these by 13.7 dB to start. Then the speaker outputs match the normal RCA outputs.
Now, the first time this was done was in the Soulgasm.
Yep.
And we did it correctly in the Soulgasm because we were being so incredibly thorough, and like me and Colt and Tyson and Drew, and we all had these conversations, and Drew was talking to Nick and the guys at JL, and we were being so careful not to fuck anything up. And then I guess somewhere along the way, me and Drew were a little arrogant and just like, we put it together and he put together some, and I looked at it, and what's kind of crazy is we turned it on and it was like, look, we don't expect this thing to be fucking super duper crazy. It's a bunch of 6.5s in a fucking chamber that's way too big, and it like came to life and it was working. And I know that our subs need a shitload of break in before they really come to life, and they really did. It went from jack shit to pretty goddamn good, we thought, but now we know it could have been.
So what we're talking about is Steve's Explorer currently.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah.
The other day, so
bawling
Steve is
my eyes out and fucking goddamn it.
Yeah, so the first day I took I got the Explorer playing, and I took it out, and
with
I
the
was
kicker
like, man, I
subs.
feel like it should be way louder than this. Something is not right. So I went back and I started to turn the gains up a little bit, and I turned the gain up on the first amp, and it got louder. I was like, okay, that makes sense. And then the second amp, I went to match it, and as soon as it got matched, it completely quieted out. So it's like they canceled each other out. And then I wasn't sure what was going on, so I just turned them all back to 0, and it got, kind of back to where it was, which was not super loud, but playing. And so I knew something was wrong. When I took it back home, I started just checking polarity between the rows, the subs, and it was showing polarity between the second and third row. So I thought that I had crossed some wiring up or did something. So I ended up unplugging all those speaker wires and going through all this shit, like cutting all the zip. It was a pain in the ass. It took me 3 hours to literally unplug and replug 2 sets of speaker wires because of how tucked and everything is back there, and diving back and forth and checking polarity on every sub, every wire, everything I could do. And then finally, Drew, I don't know if it just came to mind that this is probably what was up.
As soon as you said that you turned the gain up in the middle amp and it didn't, and it got quieter, I'm like, I know what's wrong, but I need to find out where it's wrong.
Right. Same. I was like, shit, I think it's something like this. But
when I was talking to you on the phone, remember I was testing the polarity, and it was when there was no speaker inputs, there was no speaker wires in the speaker inputs, the second and third amp had polarity with each other.
Yeah.
or had a continuity with each other.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So at first I wasn't sure what was up with
And
that.
then you told me just start unplugging stuff till there was no more continuity.
Yeah.
And as soon as I unplugged the RCAs, they stopped. They had no
Stopped.
continuity. So
I was like,
then I think that hit the light bulb that, oh shit, it's with the RCAs.
yes.
Ding,
I was
ding,
like, in my head, I'm like, all right, something with the RCAs. I was like, RCAs share a common ground, but it'd be between all of them. So I was done. That's when I was like, all right, Steve, like, what are they plugged into on the amp? I was like, you know what, send me the tune file. Let me look at it. And we discovered that the bass amps are plugged into the speaker wire out RCAs, basically. I was like, all right. So he had told me this before I looked at the file. I was looking at, he was telling me how it was wired. I'm like, So this is going to get into why we flip to the channel, every other channel. So basically what had happened was when I sent him the file, the very first time, because I sent a pre-done file, like a starting point file. Like, here, start with this, go from there. I had flipped the wrong set of outputs. So I'd flipped the RCA outputs instead of the speaker outputs. I should have caught it.
That should have been obvious to me, because remember that, Steve? That was one of the things that I fucking fixed when I was sitting on the ground at SEMA. I was like, why the fuck is that switched in its phase? That's dumb. Like, that should have never. And I had a whole, and I remember blurting it all out, but maybe you weren't exactly. You were like, is it good now? It's like, fine, let's go.
Is that when I was saying like the tweeter is playing mid?
No,
and
that
the
was
mid,
when
that's
like the you got confused about what wires you guys were connected, what RCAs were connected to what on what amp.
okay.
And so we had to switch some shit around on the amps there to get that right. It was just, that was some mix up of signal outs going into the 4 channels. So
I mean,
yeah, but goddamn.
So the whole time the 6.5s were in the Explorer, the middle row was out of phase.
Yeah.
So anyone who heard it. So I said this to Steve. I said, you don't play, you don't mess with speakers every day. I don't expect you to hear this. I was like, but how many hundreds of people put their head in there and no one caught it? I'm like, come on, guys.
Oh, I heard it. I knew, like, every time I would turn it up too much, I was like, both Bobby and I both just attributed it to the box being too big.
Yep.
And, I knew there was something
confirmation
not right.
bias. You were trying to find, a reason there was an issue, and that was the easiest one.
Yeah, because it made sense. It's like the box is twice the size it should be, so they're just kind of unloading, so that makes sense. But
so I should have caught it whenever I initially sent it. Actually, no, I did catch it. At one point, I'm like, I don't know if I did that right. I was like, but at this point, y'all were like deep into wiring to them. Like I said, but I don't want to confuse anybody. I'm like, they'll catch it when they turn shit up and it doesn't get loud. So I assume
I know loud.
I know,
like,
which is crazy.
I mean, it was doing hair tricks and shit, and people were like, "Fucking, this is cool." And I was like, "God, I wish it was a little louder than that."
So
but
it would have been louder.
It would have been fucking goddamn 6 or 8 dBs louder than that. No, I mean, we were literally using 12 of the woofers.
Yep.
I mean, essentially it's 12 of the woofers in fucking goddamn 12 times the box, really, with the other ones just sitting there fucking doing the opposite.
I'm more impressed.
Yeah. Like, that makes me like go, fuck, man. It would have been fucking awesome.
Yeah. Yep. So once the switch was done, and then I obviously fired the Explorer back up with the 15s, it's at first I was disappointed. I was like, "There's no way, dude." It was like, "It's got to be louder than this."
And then, like, the very next message, I scared myself. It's so loud.
Yeah, I was sitting in the car. I was like, "Okay, we'll see. I'll just turn it up a little bit." And I didn't know the song, and then the bass line just dropped, and I was like, "Shit!" My garage just was like, "Run!" I was like, "Oh my god!" Dude, turned it off. It's like, all right.
Yeah, that's what it could have been. Had we noticed that issue, that's what it would have been like in your garage that morning before we left for SEMA, Steve.
Yep,
like,
I agree. I think it easily would have been doing 60 to 63 range.
Oh yeah, right. and this is just, like, we could have not told anybody this happened. Just kept this to ourselves. Like,
oh no, we could have told. Like, if we figured it out, like, let's say we fucked with it and we figured it out before we pulled the subs. And then we went, hey, everybody, look at it now real quick. Now we're going to pull these out. We're going to put the kickers in. But God damn it, we were fucking up for all along,
Yep.
And
it's just proof that anyone can. Hell, think how many people have touched it in that time and no one caught it. Just big build stuff like this happens, man.
It does, and when it's like pretty fucking loud, it's hard to really know. And when you have weird variables, like, oh, we have a shitload of 6.5s in this extreme vehicle, and it's like, it's hard to know that you're fucking up. Like, it had a lot of bass and it fucking played, and
it sounded really good. It's not that it like,
yeah,
it just wasn't loud, but it sounded great. So it didn't make you think that there was something really wrong with it. The only time it sounded bad is when I went into the lanes at the show the next, like a month later, and I tried burping certain frequencies. Like, you could tell once I got past like half knob that it was not happy. But playing music, it didn't. It just wasn't loud, but it still sounded great. So it gave us no like inclination to be like, dude, it sounds like shit. Something's wrong. You know.
Yep.
But
so the reason the flip has to happen, this is going to be a little bit technical as to how amps work. So every bridgeable amplifier is a half bridge amp, is a pair of half bridge amps, basically. So the channels, like channel 1 and 2 are bridgeable. Channel 1 is normal. Positive is positive. Negative is to ground. It's like chassis ground. Channel 2 is flipped. So ground is your carrier positive, which is the signal to the speaker. Positive is grounded on channel 2. And the signal is flipped in polarity phase in the amplifier electronically to put it back into phase with the speakers outside. When you bridge the amplifiers, you're connecting the two grounds just like you do when you bridge channels, just like you do when you bridge amps. You connect the two negatives together. It's the same thing. So that you're making it a full bridge amp, half the carrier on one positive, half the carrier, like the main signal on the other. So if you didn't do this positive negative flip on channels 2, 4, 6, and 8, like if you did an 8 channel, and you put that RCA into a cheaper amplifier, like Bobby's would have been fine because he has differential RCAs, it'd have been fine. But you take a cheap amp, like, I mean, even like some of these JP amps, they're good. You know, they're built by SNI, but they're on the cheaper end, so they don't have differential inputs. Scar, hell, some of the Sundown SAEs, I think, don't have different. Anyway, bunch of amps don't have differential inputs. You put that RCA in, you turn shit on, that amp that you just plug the RCA into, it's blowing up immediately. It's blown up. So that's why you have to do that second channel flip and then fade polarity flip inside the software. That's why. Mm-hmm. And so Bobby was going to turn on they're wiring the soul gas, and when I found out, like, it could blow stuff up. Like, I knew I had to do it. I didn't know why until I talked to Nick at JL, and he told me, and I was like, I'll call you back. I called Bobby, and Mia's like, stop it. Don't do anything until I figure this out.
Shit, I'm glad it didn't hurt anything.
Well, luckily.
Like, man, no, I wish it would have. I wish we would have blown up a fucking amp. Fucking boom, fucking fire squirts out of it, and we're all bummed out. We're like, what the fuck happened? And then we're like, oh shit, it's that. And then we would have been good. I would have had another fucking amp there. We would have ripped that shit apart, and that motherfucker would have been playing. And we would have fucking learned, goddamn it, motherfucker shit.
Luckily, Bobby didn't go cheap at all with his amps and got the best of everything.
Tried.
So could have hooked him up backwards.
Who is the Josh? Who's Josh C? He said he knew it was wrong, but it might as well don't. Next time, don't mind your own business. Come and fucking tell us.
Like, I swear there might be something wrong. Let's check it out. Like
especially like if it's like a bunch, there's a bunch of stuff going on, because like the Explorer was important, but like they both had a ton of things happening at one time. It's
oh god. Fucking day 2, Jim's like
he was good.
Drained his batteries down to 8 volts before he realizes the truck had turned off, and he fucking DSP is broken. Eric's doing the same thing in the monkey. But I'm like, what are you guys doing? My alternator quit charging. Like, why is your car still playing? Well,
it'll be all right, bruh.
What the fuck, guys? Fucking Soulgasm rips the fucking water pump pulley off and launches the belt. Oh my god.
speaking of Jim, because I know that the Jim was helping with all that. My amp racks shipped out today or yesterday. The new custom like adjustable things that he came out with.
Nice.
Shipped out yesterday.
Ryan, have not metered it yet. I'll probably run it in the lanes at the showdown.
Does
But I
Bobby
gotta
still make
get,
custom boxes, brother?
I gotta get Drew out here still to.
You don't follow my social media, Fuego? We build a lot of custom boxes, and we also do the production models.
He just posted the most fire box.
It's pretty dope. It's real pretty.
Hold on, I'm gonna go pull up a picture. I can pull it up from this computer. Blake, I only made it halfway through the video so far, but dude, I'm digging it. Blake did an audio precision. So DD has an AP, so he did like a full like technical analysis of their new SS amp they're coming out with.
No, Byron, I was talking about at SEMA. At SEMA. Yeah.
Present, share screen. Brother.
How weird looking. It looks deformed a little bit at
oh yeah, because I pulled the background out.
Yeah.
that is a real photo.
Like melted.
How heavy is it, Bobby? Did you guys put on a scale?
Oh no, I didn't put it on a fucking scale, but it was when I carried the top like baffle assembly with the front and inner port and back port panels across the parking lot, and that probably weighed 75-80 pounds. So with the fucking sides and the bottom and the back, the box alone's probably close to 200 pounds, probably 170, 180-ish. And then the subs are
65 pounds a piece,
65 pounds each. So yeah, we got 300 pounds plus of box and subs.
I'm gonna have to go help put that in.
Yeah, for sure. Yep, it's really, really good. Like pretty much every bond is, it's got little teeny bubble there and a little teeny bubble there and there and there. You know what I mean? Every one. And then there's one that has like a little bit of a dry spot is what it's called. It's like where the plastic was pressed against itself, each other. And I didn't get the juice in there when I was making the chemical welds. There's one little like dry spot and I'm like, fuck her. But it's fucking real good. It's a really good one.
Well, I mean, if it was perfect, it could just be, I don't know if it could be machine made, but then it'd be made by machine, and that's not what they're buying.
Well, what do you got to do for that, Bobby, when you have a dry spot? Do you do anything to...
No, you just go, that's right there, and you make sure you show the customer so they don't freak out when they see it.
And does that have anything to do with it being sealed or anything, or no?
Oh, no, it won't cause any failure or anything.
Okay. Yeah. Not about failure, but I just meant like for seal. Like it.
Yeah, no, it's not dry all the way. Otherwise that would have been really weird. But it's like it's like water thin solvent, and it penetrates pretty fucking well. But when the parts are pressed against each other really tight, it'll get most of the way in, and there's like a little 3/8 of an inch wide by 1.5 inches long, like kind of like little pill shaped spot where the chemical weld didn't get all the way in there. Yeah. And once you fucking do the chemical weld, you're like, and that's done. That's it. You're fucking, there's no fucking with it. So yeah, that's the tough part. Yeah. Yep. It came out really good. The designing that hexagon pattern was quite a process.
Was it?
It was like, I had to make sure that everything was just fucking right. You know what I mean? And you got to like pretty much just draw it. And then I like every little thing, hexagon, and then equal, and make this pattern. It's not, I mean, it was reasonable, but I wish it was.
It doesn't have some sort of like fill option, Bobby, in the software?
Not with like a pattern like that. With many things you can make a pattern, but like getting hexagons to line up wasn't super straightforward. Kind of sucked, but I figured it out. I did a lot of like mirroring and copy and then mirror and kind of
What kind of files can you import into that software?
Any vector file will come in there.
Like if I were to make you, because I can make patterns really quick and easy on the software I use.
What software
It's
do you
not-
use?
Well, it's for decals and stuff. It's called
Is it
Silhouette.
like Plexi or
No,
Silhouette?
it's called Silhouette Pro Business Edition or something. It's got a bunch of powerful features. It's how I made like all my trophies and the window stickers. It's kind of like half Photoshop, half plotter software in a way.
Okay, yeah. I
But
used to
I
use
can make
Plexi
all kinds of
a whole bunch,
patterns.
and it had some cool stuff in there that I could work with a bit. That work?
Yeah, you know, wait, scan them and email
I don't think that's a scanner, is it? I think it is. Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
buddies.
But yeah, I'd say I can make all kinds of patterns. If you want to screw around with something one day and have me try to make something, I'll send it to you and see
Yeah,
if
we
it
can
works.
try.
Might be
Make
easy.
make a really cool hexagon pattern. I mean, I have one now. Obviously, I fucking made it, and so I save all my shit. But make me a hexagon pattern, and then nothing. I'm sorry. I'm distracted by Josh's vacuum chamber thing. Yeah, I'm gonna make a giant fucking vacuum chamber, and then I'll wear a spacesuit in there, Josh, while I work on the boxes. It should be fucking super reasonable. We got her email. Just scan them, and then I'll save them to this thing. I don't know how to change emails in there. Yeah. So anyway, sorry. And then send me a cool hexagon pattern. I'll see what it's like when I drag it into the software. See what we get.
I'm soldering, so I have some custom PCBs made.
Oh, sick.
Got my logo on it, Amplab logo, till they like slide over RCA ends.
Nice. And then you solder them on there.
So these get bolted on like by the
okay,
nut,
yeah. I
and
see.
then I solder the top one on because there's a this one. It slides over the power.
Oh, very cool.
That one gets soldered on. Right now, I'm soldering the wires to the boards. I do a double solder joint on both to make it, there's two connections and then high temp hot glue over that. So that way there's less chance of failure. Because failures would suck. Oh, I guess for people who don't know, I'm working on one of these for Bobby.
Yeah, we're gonna switch out that what is it, the tweak?
Yep.
And we're gonna use the MBI in the Slam Halen.
Hell yeah. I got yours to do, and then I got another one to do that he's also so I was gonna make them all white and blue to match the amps. Nobody has wanted a white and blue one, so they've all been custom colors so far. And his will be too.
I mean, there is like here's the thing is because you're making it all red to match the truck and everything, the likelihood that where that's going to end up, Colt's going to probably like hide the fuck out of it somewhere. Whereas if you had done them white and blue, then it would be like, oh fuck, it's got to go right here, like right in the middle of everything on display. So that's just how that's.
It is what it is. But
Jerry needs one of those gizmos as well.
Yeah,
Jerry Eastman. Yep.
Gizmos.
So I got this one,
Jerry,
that one.
Jerry,
Jerry.
by the shop and pick up all these subs. I need some space in my office area, and I got a stack of fucking subwoofers. If you could take these away, that would help me.
I'm gonna have to.
You
source
get
some more
615s. Just in a big ass stack back there behind me. I'm like, yeah.
So I burned up all the blue I'd initially ordered for that. This.
It's pretty cool.
Modular.
We've been talking about
Ports.
doing Gately shield shaped ones, kind of like that for certain things. I actually did for Stephen Dunn. We made a Gately shield 3D printed port that made the Gately shield turn a 90-degree angle in Stephen Dunn's Porsche. That looks cool.
I
like the joint assembly. That looks strong. That's cool.
Yep. So it's gonna have So I think I've decided that I'm going to design a flare for PVC because that's the most popular request. Make it work for normal PVC. Okay. So I'll have that, but I also have if people want to do full custom ports like this, so the joints are tight, but they'll also have a bunch of M4 screws around the side, so you don't ever have to use tape or anything like that. So you just M4 screws there, like on the side of the flare. M4s on the coupler, even though it's already kind of tight, but that's testing. And any size, and this is 4 5/8. It's so, like such a weird size.
How big can you, if somebody wants like a big old giant 10-inch or 12-inch tube?
5 inches, about as big as I can make it currently.
Okay.
Yep.
So I thought it was a Byron-sized fleshlight.
Did somebody say that?
No, I did.
Oh.
I was also saying that I made the thing, but I was waiting to crack that joke, and I was distracted. And I was like, "Oh fuck it, just say it."
So I got one more piece to make, and this first one will be done. It'll ship out to him.
You don't have the software. Says something bad. We'll email it to Allison. See if it'll work.
You want to email it to Allison?
See if it'll her email's on there.
Sure. And then I'll have her like send it to me or send it to you. Okay. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Now you've gone and done it.
It wants a PIN number.
I don't know. It's above my pay grade around here, but I don't think anybody's ever used the scanner part of that thing for anything. But if you come around here tomorrow, or Allie's not going to be here tomorrow, it's Thursday.
Yeah.
But Friday.
I'm just gonna take a picture of it and send it to
Yeah, do that shit. That's not bad.
So one more of these black parts, and this will be done. And then I'll design the flare for like 3-inch, 4-inch PVC. That way, those can be people can buy those. But then I'll post these for sale. And these are going to be expensive, like that's fuck. So people are like, oh, if they're reasonable, I'll get one. I'm like, they're not going to be. If you want a full custom diameter, custom color port, this is going to basically look at the price of a port you think might be equivalent, triple it. That's how much it might be. Because I don't want to sell 1 million of these. But,
no, because
but that's why I'm going to offer the flare that just mounts to PVC. That'll be more reasonable because that's a lot quicker. Like this is like multiple days of printing to do this whole thing.
And it's got to be like almost 100% infill, at least 50% infill, because otherwise it's going to be too weak. And
so like the main flare is 100%, like the one that mounts to the box.
Right. Yeah.
This one was 4-wall. I did like a transition, like where the screws go is basically 100% infill, and then it transitions to like 50% with 3 walls down. That way it's lighter towards the end.
Yeah.
The coupler is 100%, and then this is an expensive material because it's ASA, so it can 205-degree softening point. So, these are going to be expensive for the people who want them, but I'll be able to do any color you want, and there's just nowhere else you can get a full color, custom length, custom diameter port. So. But they're going to finish that, and then I confirmed my order. I talked to Kevin today. He confirmed his order for 100 solder stations. So I'll probably start on those tonight.
Heck yeah. Kevin
Holden.
Yeah, the other Kevin.
Yeah, the other Kevin.
Holder.
Ultimate Marketing. So if you're an Ultimate Marketing customer, you'll probably be getting one.
Very cool.
Fuck
so
yeah,
John asked about the enclosure I did for Marty, the kind of purplish pink one. I'm pretty sure is what you're talking about. Yeah, I'm sure we still have that design. Absolutely.
Exactly, Blake.
Yeah. I should have about every design. I can't remember how long ago that was. I'm sure I have some form of it. It may be a design that was done in AutoCAD, but I'm sure I have the design. So.
Yeah, I have every design I've ever done.
Yeah, I mean, I have every design pretty much, but that I've ever done on a computer.
Oh, yeah.
There was a lot of shit back in the day just on paper, but like we ended up finally throwing those away like 5 years ago, like throwing away, notebooks and notepads and like fucking stacks. And there used to be a lot of stuff that was written on pieces of wood. I'd have like a whole design on just a piece of fucking plywood and years back MDF.
Yep. So even with the bougie printers, stuff can happen.
Oh yeah, when I was making the first of these parts, I didn't have the right, like, it kind of has like a base setting when you put new filament in, and I didn't realize that every time you do that, you have to go in there and tell it your special settings you like to use. So It went down to 90C instead of 110 on the fucking on the table. And so just
Nothing was sticking.
part right here was like a quarter of an inch up on the side of it. It looked super funky. But I don't know if you guys remember, I was talking about, where's the lug at? Son of a bitch. There it is. I was talking about how my inputs will be.
Yeah.
So this is, if you look here, and this guy goes like that. Right? 4-aught lug on that. So they're supposed to be giving me
let me see it again, Bobby. Nice.
And like, so yeah, here's a regular input. And here's,
You could do too, Bobby, if somebody doesn't want to do lugs, you can offer little square blocks that still have the they just put them on there, and then they could screw in to where the lug would screw in, and then you'd still have your grub screw on top to press the wire. It'd be something I think you could definitely sell people. I think you could carry, because a lot of people are I think a good amount of people are going to want the option to run either with a lug or without.
No, I mean, you can it'll also accept a regular 1-aught lug, so it's not.
Jim can make one. Jim can make one. People want
it could be a secondary thing that would be made here in the States by something like Jim, or I have a local machine shop that makes a bunch of the seat lift parts for us. So that's also an option. It really just kind of depends on how that works out.
I mean, it's just something you could even just throw on the website, like set screw blocks that go into the amps.
Blocks for our amps. It's a cool looking little billet piece that people want to buy, and they're like, and then, but at the same time, like, this is a better connection though. I want you to put the lug on here. It's better, but if they're, and then it would be something. See, what would suck though is, let's say somebody buys our 10K. And it only has 3 of these inputs on it. And then they're like, yeah, I put the little thing on there, and then they stick the wire in, and then it's pinched on, and then it's not that good of a connection. And then we're drawing massive amounts of current through that. And that's where the lug is a much better connection. So maybe it's not out of the question, but I would really prefer them to primp a lug on there and bolt it down. And what I do think we're going to do, though, is we're going to have it be a stud, like a set screw stud that threads into it and has an Allen head in it and is removable. So if somebody F's up the threads on it, they can put a new one in.
That's a good idea.
It would be.
Don't say hard.
It's going to. It would be unreasonable to, like, if the threads in the component here got goofed up, if these threads were messed up, then replacing that would be a problem. But again, we've seen other amplifiers with any style input have a stripped out head there anyway, so there's a little more versatility.
I hear my buddy.
So there are fastening points that mount this to the case of the amplifier, like the whole structure here. And there are fastener points in the middle of the connection. Yeah. Yep.
What?
Josh was asking about if it's bolted to the board. Yes, there are fasteners that mount this to the board. So, but that's the way it is on any of them. But yeah, I do intend to put a couple wires and bolt the lug down and like swing a fucking amp around like this and be like, yeah, that's a connection.
You know, like
It'll be all right.
Normally, I'd be like, if someone else said that they would do that to their amplifier, I'd say, no, you won't. But I know for a fact Bobby's going to be in the parking lot with a fucking 12K just
swinging
it
around. Yeah. I'll wear a helmet when I do it, though, because I don't want that motherfucker to bat me in the head and kill me.
Let me clean off your cushion, bro. My bad. I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that at all. There you go, man. There you go, bud.
I don't know what's going on with my computer right now. I might have to restart it.
So Eric is down in your area. I think has he flown out yet? He must have already landed in Vegas. He's there until Monday. So he was hoping to meet up with you.
Yep, I've talked to him. I'm going to get him a good demo. Hey, let me restart my computer real quick and then come back because it's all fucked up.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Well, I'm still here.
Yeah. Awkward.
We should just end the broadcast and everybody be
gone.
Yeah,
mine's gone. Just everyone dip.
He's
like, the fuck, bro? Yeah, I'm gonna try to get this done tonight so I can test it and then get it shipped out. I know that you need it.
You like park the 911 on one side of me and my van on the other side and just fucking have a smooth couple $100,000 worth of vehicles around that, and I'm swinging around a big ass amplifier.
Yeah, they're like, what are you doing? Don't worry about it. It's fine. Well, I hope it's fine. That's what we're testing. Oh,
Glenn, where are you? Where the fuck are you, Glenn Privet? Where have you been? You're supposed to come see me. You didn't.
Oh no, Glenn.
Told me you loved me. Glenn's a smart dude. He's a fun dude to be around. Yep.
I see what Steven said about the 911. But bro, you want to be a real man, cancel your insurance, then do it.
Yeah.
Imagine calling your insurance company, hey,
Nah, that would qualify as negligence.
You think? Well, I mean, he didn't do it. You did it.
Yeah, it would be negligence on my part. So my insurance company would cancel the fuck out of me after they paid that shit.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, it'd be a problem.
You're right. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Okay, that socket's not there. That's cool. Socket ratchet. Oh, wait. I remember I left it out on purpose because I knew I'd need it. Look at me. How was CES?
It was interesting. Wasn't as productive as I thought it might be, but we had a really good time. So that was good. You know what's really funny is like me and Allie, Allison's like the most fun person in the world to me. And her and I have a really good time all the time, even when we're doing something that we fucking hate doing. So like we walked in and like and we're walking by the Mitsubishi booth, which is fucking massive, right? And they had like big electric big rig trucks and all kinds of TVs and like all this, like everything that Mitsubishi makes, which is literally fucking everything. And it was big as a motherfucker. And we're walking by and there's like music playing and there's people dancing and shit. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on over there? And I like, and there's lights flashing, these giant screens. And this girl jumps out and she's like, do you guys want to do recycle disco? And I looked at Allie and I'm all, recycle disco? And she's like, yeah, like fucking disco, let's go. And we're like, okay. And like, we walk over and we're like kind of waiting in this line. And like, by the time we like got over there, like the people weren't really dancing anymore, and they're like kind of walking away, and it's like a little awkward, and there's like this little line, and then they're like calling people, and like then there's like, oh, you're gonna go in the little meeting room over here. It's like print off the sides, and we kind of go in there, and we're standing there, we're waiting, and I hear and then like the people are doing their little dancey thing for fucking 35 seconds over there, and we're like 2 minutes into this process, and I'm like, how long is this gonna take? And they're like, oh, it's about 5 minutes for everything. And I'm like, okay. And then like it starts this little video, and it's like telling us about Mitsubishi recycling, and it's interesting, but not that interesting. Like I got suckered into the disco. They had me at disco. They lost me at I'm gonna tell you all about our recycling process at Mitsubishi. And I'm like tapping on Allie, waiting for her to look at me because I was going to be like, we got to go. We're going to miss our meeting is what I was going to say. I'm sorry. We have a meeting to get to. I didn't realize it's going to take. We're going to go. We'll come back. I promise. I'm fucking not going back. But anyway, we endured that. And then they walked us out. And then they had the disco thing. And you're like, all right, the sensor is watching you do the thing. You got to recycle the parts by like shaking your ass. So I'm like, fucking, like, this sucks. And I'm like, we get done and we're like, that's fucking torture. Get the fuck out of here. And it was like 5 minutes, but I really wish I had that 5 minutes back. I really do.
You're like, I don't feel like I wasted 5 minutes very often, but damn.
Yeah, but damn.
This one got me.
It was awkward. Like, I was like, man, giving my girl a moment to dance and shake around and laugh and giggle and see fucking giant screens with lights and colors and blah, blah, blah. That sounds fun, and I'm down to do that, but she was like, that was awful. I'm all, yeah, no shit. I'm like, I was like, damn it. I was like, I thought we were going to fucking just hop in there and like, we were going to be dancing around and it was going to tell us the recycle process. That's all they had to do. If they would have been like, as long as you're dancing, this thing will fucking talk. And it lasts for 1 minute. And we could have been standing there talking and it's describing recycling processes. And then we could have fucking walked away. It would have been way fucking better.
Nope.
But no. Nope.
Where was this? Because I missed the entry to this conversation. What was this? What are you talking about?
That was at CES. Right when we walked in the entrance that we went in, right? So we stayed at Resorts World, which is the red buildings that we could see where we were parked at SEMA, Steve, right? We were taking the Tesla little trip, and it would drop us right there where we were. Like, we would get out of cars right where we were parked.
Yeah, that's where I parked for SEMA. I'd go in and out from that tunnel.
Yeah. And so we got out right there, and we walked in the fucking doors that were right there, and it was like there's a couple things Mitsubishi, and they fucking
was it kind of dead? Like, what did it seem? I mean, even many CESs compared to the past.
Now, I haven't been to CES in like 6 years. And yeah, it was fucking dead. And it was, so they only had stuff in the central, north, and west halls. They didn't have anything in the other two buildings. I was like, let's go to those buildings. And we're like walking over there, and I'm like, there's nothing in these buildings. The doors didn't open. There was nobody. I was like, I can't even believe it. I'm like, that's wow. Crazy. Yeah, that is empty. Yeah,
that show is dying off big time. I don't know what happened, but when COVID happened and they forced everybody that wanted to come to have a vaccine,
you know what it is?
Boycotted that. And
it's also just obviously that, but the same reason a lot of companies downsize their offices. They realize we don't need that to do sales.
Yeah, but SEMA's got way bigger it keeps getting bigger every year. So
well,
my first year, everyone said it was dead.
Well,
SEMA was dead.
First year I went, everyone said it was dead.
Oh, the first year you went? You mean 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that was the first year back after COVID. We were right in the middle of COVID. As a matter of fact, a bunch of us got COVID. I got COVID so bad it was fucking
right.
Yeah, that was a weird year because nobody knew what to do yet. But this last year, I mean, shit, there was like 280,000 people, I think they said.
Damn, I'm not going back then. That's too many people.
It was fucking big this year. SEMA was. CES was fucking insignificant. I mean, there was people, but I'll tell you what, I have been I remember one of the first years I went to CES. I remember it being so packed, just walking down the aisleways of like Central Hall midday, and I was like holding Allie's hand, like, fucking stay with me. Like, you know, we're like wedging through people. I'm like, God damn, this is packed. And there's like, remember how there would be like lines of people waiting to like get fucking autographs from like famous people and shit that would be at.
Well, yeah, like say the first was it 2020 CES showdown.
Yeah.
The year we had the kicker meeting party
Yeah.
thingy.
Yep.
Right?
19.
Well, like, no, that was
It was 19.
Well, it
it
was
was before
2020 because it was January of
it
2020.
was January.
Oh,
2020.
sorry. You're right. You're right. The first,
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
first meeting with them.
But
Was,
the year before that, I think is the year actually I'm thinking of when the Cube was there in 2019, and Kicker had like a big party with like those race. God, what are those drag guys that do the show on Discovery?
Street Outlaws.
Street Outlaws, and they had a thing just like that, Bobby, where they had a couple of the Street Outlaw guys, and there was like lines of people to get autographs, and this was CES. It was packed before COVID. Yeah, that's it. There was none of that, huh? This year.
Oh no, I didn't notice any of that shit. There was a couple things that there was lines for, but not much of anything. It was like, what's that line for? It was like, never mind, fuck that.
Did
Actually,
you see anything cool? Like, what'd you see that was at least worth going for? Anything?
no.
Me?
I like nothing strikes me as, oh my god, that was fucking amazing. I'll tell you what is I'm a little bit more overweight than I should be with the damage that I have in my old man legs now, and so like walking like 10 miles in a day, and I was limping around pretty fucking bad. And I was like, motherfucker, I need to go on a diet. I'm fine when I don't get fat, right? If I can lose 15, 20 fucking pounds, blah blah. Anyway, but we were walking around on Friday, and we had our flight to go to, so we were staying at CES walking around until it was time to go to the airport, and there were like these super high-end massage chairs.
Hmm.
And there was two different places that had them, and one place was a little bit smaller, but their chairs actually looked a little bit fucking fancier. They looked like fucking Star Trek. Like it was cool looking. And she's like, let's go get in those chairs. I'm like, yeah, this will be pretty awesome right now. I could use the massage thing. And we get in these chairs, and I almost wanted to buy one right then. And they were like, sale price is like $8,000. And I was like, I'm going to think about that shit. But if I was a little more wealthy, which I'm not very wealthy at all, I would have fucking bought one of those big ass things.
It was that good, huh?
It was so good. We stayed in it for like 45 minutes because it was like a 15-minute process. And then Allie's like, is there something for like the low back? And he's like, oh yeah, there's a program for the low back. He's just like, here you go. And he's like, you want to do it too? I'm like, yeah, do that too. And then we're like getting done. And I was like, it does this thing up the middle of my back. And he's like, oh, there's the middle of the back one. Didn't you guys do that one too? I'm like, okay. And it was, I mean, it would like, it goes and it squeezes your hands and up your arms, and it's got these massagers going up your back like this. And oh my God, it was so fucking amazing. And it like leans back and it like pulls your feet down, and it like kind of stretches your back a little bit out. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. And I was like dozing off, and like it would do something and wake me up, and I was like, oh shit. What's that?
So it has traction built in.
Yeah.
It like pulls you. It pulls
a little. I mean, it wasn't like drawn and quartered, but it was like it like leaned back so that I was, and it was like holding my feet so that it was a little bit inverted, so it was like stretching my back out. It was so good. I was like, this is fucking amazing. It was so good. And then we get done and we get out, and I'm like, oh my God, I feel like a fucking $1 million. I was like, I dozed off like 5 times. I don't know how long I like slept for. It might have been fucking 10 seconds 5 times, but it was so good. I was like, oh my God,
yeah,
so bad. I was like this. I was like, to be the most old man fucking purchase ever.
A massage chair.
Really good. I'm like, damn it, man. But yeah. Yeah, the massage chair. So that's what I'll tell you is if you go to, they should have them they probably have them at SEMA somewhere too. They'd be dumb not to. Because imagine all these people walking around this huge event, and they're walking, like a
lot.
really light day is 8 or 10 miles. Allie and I, when we went to SEMA in 2018, me and Allie, we wore running shoes, and I was in really good shape. I had been running regularly, and her and I walked a fucking marathon the first day we were there. We walked every aisle of every fucking building and all of the outside shit, the whole fucking thing in one day, and like made notes of places we wanted to revisit. So, yeah.
No, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Brandy's going
you
to
didn't
Vegas
see any
this
like
weekend.
cool 3D printing stuff. I could have swore there would have been some of that, like some good
I
stuff.
did not see any fucking 3D printers. Not fucking one.
So there's a bunch of really big 3D printing expos that most of them aren't in the US, which is crazy. But there's some really big ones that I think one just happened a month ago. So I'm
We
not
should
surprised.
totally go, Drew. I'm down. We could learn so much just walking through there.
Dude, I'm in. I
Let's
think the
go.
big one's in I think it's in Germany. And that's
No,
that's my favorite place to go.
I bet that sounds fun, but I'm not. I don't want to go all the way to Germany. Can we go to one in the U.S.?
Nah, bro. No, nah. Houston to Frankfurt. It's cheap, quick. Oh, quick, cheap.
I don't know about either of those.
Nah, so you do round trip out of Houston for Frankfurt for like $700.
Really?
I mean, you're not flying business. I tell you that.
And these long flights, I don't know if I could do them.
Nah,
Yeah, that's like fucking torture. It's rough.
Brandy's heading to Vegas this weekend, I think.
You should come with her and help me build loading wall.
She's flying in for Jessica's birthday. Her, Michaela, and I think somebody else they're going to go hiking for the day.
Oh, nice.
Yup.
Where are they going?
I don't know.
They should go to the City of Blue Diamond and go to Cottonwood Station. That's the spot.
I'm not sure where they're going. I'm not sure they know where they're going.
I'll send you a link. There's so much good hiking back there. It's where all the people go to hike. Well, not all the people, but it's a good hiking spot because Cottonwood Station's like a bar that's right at the bottom of all the hiking trails, and you can do all your hiking and then come back and have mimosas and pizza and shit.
I'll send that to them. Yeah, no, they just decided that like earlier this week.
Nice.
And I think old Price is flying into Baton Rouge because Michaela is our buddy Chris Sturgis's wife. So his wife and my wife are going. So I was like, hey, Price, why don't you fly in while they fly out and we can give you some Louisiana food. So I think he's pulling up.
What's your favorite Louisiana food?
Oh, I mean,
you like seafood? Are you a seafood guy?
Yeah. I mean, crawfish is so cliche, but that's just like you can get anything anywhere else. You can't get good crawfish anywhere else. Like you can get good seafood in a lot of places. But
I'm not the biggest seafood guy, but I do like the whole thing about crawfish. I don't know. I do like the crawfish boil. I do like eating it.
Good.
It's fucking good. But I'd love to do it down there. The closest I've been is Houston. I mean,
totally different.
So yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, you were talking about coming to Scraping the Coast, weren't you?
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to Hemi about that. Still, it's 2 weeks after Slam, so
yep.
I'd have to bring the Explorer down, drop it off at the trailer, drive back. I know the flyback thing would work, but the thing is, I'm going to be renting a truck. So
you don't want to
sit there for 2 weeks, $100 a day or whatever. Yeah, no.
Yeah, add up real quick.
Yeah, and I mean, how far of a drive is it from you to me? Like 20?
24.
It's the same distance as Slam was 28. Okay. So yeah, whatever. It'd be an extra 2 days. It is what it is. So what are you only 3 hours from Slam? 4 hours from Slam?
Huh?
How far are you from Slam?
16.
What?
Something like that. 12. Yeah. Well, it takes me 16, like 12.
Let me hold on here. Las Vegas.
From Scraping, 2.
What? Oh, where's
from Slam, 12.
Let's see. Where's Duncan live?
Biloxi, Mississippi.
Yeah.
Mississippi.
There's somewhere there. That's 20 fucking 7 hours. What the fuck?
Now do it
It's
from
just as
Indy.
far.
Now do
It's
it from
the same
Indy.
distance. It's the same distance. No, for me to get to, bro. Okay, I'll have to really think about this now. That's so much more driving than I was expecting it to be. I was like, yeah, it's probably like kind of the same as going the kicker. No, not even close.
Texas is big, man.
Yes, it is. Don't go I-10.
Oh my God, 27.
Well, I mean, what's it called? El Paso is closer to San Diego than it is Houston.
I believe it.
Wonder if there's any chance I could get Kicker to like hook me up with a couple travel bucks for one of these shows.
Maybe.
Damn, that's a whole nother slam. I mean, 27 hours. That's another 3 days there, 3 days back in the car.
That's
2
so
days
like people don't realize how far some of these drives are that we make. And then they're like, oh, are you coming to this show? And I'm like, nah, man. And they're like, oh, come on. You haven't been out here. Like, oh, yeah, bro, I know. But I've driven 190 hours this week. Jesus. Like,
yeah, slams. I mean, doing it with two people, it's all right, but whatever.
My mileage for like last year for my taxes, disgusting. Like the federal government's going to owe me money.
Damn, I got to figure this out. I wonder how much it would cost to ship the fucker there, or maybe just to have it shipped back to me.
Yeah, but if you got to tow it out there, then you got to drive back no trailer. What the fuck are you talking about?
Because what I'll do is I would drive from Slam to there, leave the Explorer, drive my ass back home, and then I just fly there to do the show, fly back, have everything shipped
Probably
back.
$1,500 to $2,000.
Yeah, I mean, between the cost of gas and renting a truck, that's what it's going to cost me.
Yeah.
So might as well do that.
Jim and I were talking about for the showdown getting the Raiden there, and he was like, "Just ship it." And I was like, "Oh, well, I mean," and he's like, "Just fucking ship it because it'll cost, $600 in gas each way. I might as well spend like 600 or 800 more and not have to fucking have anybody drive it." I'm like, all right. I'm like, go. So
yeah. You guys using the same same companies? Are they nationwide? Because I know you've transported enough vehicles now to like me to trust.
We have called this one same company every time. We've never had like a problem, but it's expensive. And they're always like in its case by case. You deal with a different guy that's his own like thing that's part of this broker.
Okay.
And
so
like the last guy, the guy that took the Soulgasm and the Slam Halen to Slamology last year, when he pulled up, he didn't speak a word of English, like nothing. And he's like typing shit in his phone, and he's like, "It's fine like this," and I'm like, "No." And he left the key in the ignition, and I'm all, "Hey, like, if these things show up with dead batteries, there's a fucking problem here, man." And I'm like, and he's like, I'm like typing into his phone for him, and he's like, "Oh, okay, I make sure." I'm like, "Yeah, I make fucking sure." I'm like, "Oh my god," but yeah, sketch.
Do that, please. I mean, I have a buddy too, Casey Perry, that is a truck driver, and he's a basehead, and he's talked about taking a few of the Vegas cars out there. I'm gonna have to contact him again and see if it's something he can do. But I wonder if Killian doesn't do that, right? He doesn't have he's not driving anymore. He's just doing the spices, I think.
Yeah, I think he can't really be on the road anymore, I think, from what I understood.
Yeah, but it might just be cheaper to have it just shipped back with all of our gear. I mean,
yeah, I considered shipping the Tahoe, but we bring a lot to these shows. Like, you know what it's like to bring a booth, and then I don't know. I enjoy the drive for the most part. It's good family, good family time. I just don't want to do it 17 times a year. You know,
That just is a lot of driving within 2 weeks of each other is the thing. I wouldn't mind like doing
if
that a couple
scraping was
times a
any
year.
further, I wouldn't go. But it's
But we're
like 2 hours
talking-
from me.
Yeah, that's 3, 6, 9. That's 12 days on the road within 2 weeks. Or within 16 days, 12 of them are on the road. That's fucking brutal.
Oh my God. Like, I'll tell you what, Steve, like the most torture was that first year SEMA and doing the showdown out there at that taco festival.
Yeah.
And I'd say that I was definitely experiencing COVID symptoms starting on like late Saturday nights. The first time I was like, damn, I got a fucking headache and my sinuses were like super uncomfortable. They were like clear but hurt.
Yeah.
And then it was Sunday morning, the first real COVID thing, and I still didn't know. I didn't even think about COVID until Monday morning. But that shit was like, it was like we arrived on Sunday and I didn't get home until the Monday, and I was like, oh my God. Like, I remember midday Sunday when I was like, I'm gonna get out of here, and you were like, all right, there's a lot of people leaving, and I was like, I don't understand why those people are leaving, but I have been here for a full week now. So,
Yeah. That was
like,
way
I
too long.
wanted, you were like, I fucking hear you. And I remember on Saturday evening, I was watching you. I was sitting in the bloodbath, and I was talking to somebody, and they were saying something about, the show, and it's awesome, and this place, and whatever. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, Steve's really working his ass off. And I was like, look at him right there. And you were walking along, and man, you look like shit. You look like, and you like, like head was down, and you were just walking like, fucking, I'm over this. And it was like, I was like, a motherfucker is tired. He has been full tilt all day, every day for I don't even know how many fucking days in a row. And it was
And
like,
it was,
yeah. And I was like,
and it
man,
was obviously when all the shit was going on with me and my ex. So yeah,
Oh,
it was a I can't even say the word. It was a
tumultuous. Is that what you were going for? Is that the right word? I don't even know.
The right word. Tumultuous time in my life for sure.
It was a
Yeah.
that was a fucking event. I was fucking when I was driving home. Remember, I left there. I went to the hotel. I took a shower. I took like a 10-minute nap. I was like, I'm gonna sleep until I wake up, and then I'm gonna get up and go. And I like laid down, and I woke up, and I was like, I'm gonna go. And it was like 4:00, and I fucking hopped in the fucking truck and started driving, and per the directions, the fucking Nevada route was the way. And I prefer the Nevada route unless I get fucked trying to come over through Tahoe Truckee coming back to Sac, which I did. But I really like the Nevada route. And man, I was pulling in at fucking like 2:45 a.m. and I was like a fucking zombie. I had the fucking radio blaring and Eric's F-250. I'm towing a enclosed big ass trailer with the bloodbath in it. It's snowing, shit on the ground. There's no fucking where to park in any of the rest stops or anything. It was fucking rough, but man. And I got back to my house with all the weather and everything. I got home at like 4 a.m. So it was like a 12-hour. And the last 3 hours of it were the worst, and I was fucking exhausted. And I had fucking COVID and didn't know it yet. So yeah, in the morning I got up. It was funny because on Sunday morning I went downstairs in that hotel, and they had, and like the lady walked by with a plate of French toast, and I was like, oh my God, that looks so good. And I ordered the French toast, and I started eating it, and I was like, what the fuck? This is disgusting. This is the worst fucking French toast I've ever had. I couldn't even believe it. It was all buttery and I was like, what in the fuck? And I was like, God damn, did they do some weird shit? Like, I was like, I think they must have like accidentally cleaned the fucking fryer, cooking top
with their ass.
with fucking
Chemicals or some
dish
shit.
soap or Windex or something. It's like, and so then Monday I get up at like 10 o'clock in the morning. I get downstairs and I'm all cinnamon toast crunch. Here I go, and I fucking pour a bowl and I pour the thing and I fucking take a bite of it and it tasted like a little bit like Windex.
You're
Little.
like,
hold
on.
And my head is pounding. I have a terrible headache. I'm like, I think I have COVID. I was like, motherfucker. I'm like, I think this is what COVID is. And I'm all, fuck. And so I go up and I'm talking to Allie and she's like, I have a terrible headache. I feel like shit. And I was like, I think we have COVID. And she's like, really? I'm all, we just around fucking thousands of fucking idiots. And, we were talking about it. And then sure shit, we got the little thing. And it was like, it's like, wait 15 minutes. That fucking second line was there in like fucking 15 seconds. I was like,
damn.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm pregnant. Yeah.
Huh.
Yep. That was that first year. That was a rough one, man. But that whole, I was so glad this year you didn't have the event after. It makes sense. We're already there. You know what I mean? But it's like, after 5 days of SEMA, I'm like, dude, I want to go the fuck home. And then obviously we had the SEMA Fest, but it was only one extra day.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing about what I wanted to, the whole goal with CES Showdown was to kind of do what ended up happening at SEMA. I wanted to create like enough noise to either get manufacturers to come set up at the show or us get into the show. And it ended up working out to where we got in for SEMA. And then it was like, well, we have these big builds here, so let's do the show at the same time. And obviously it was way too much shit. But now that we're into one of these big ass shows and we get to do what I always wanted to do was, bring either the big car audio to our shows or us go to these big shows. So we're in there, getting one of the things done. And now we get to have the showdown just for us bass heads.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
And it looks like, what's really cool, Steve, is with all these guys coming from back east and with everything we got here, all these California guys and you have a nice crew out there in Vegas as well. It's going to be a big fucking event. And the showdown was fucking huge. The CES showdown was huge every time that I went to it. It was 3 years, I believe. That was the first time I met Drew, was actually at the showdown the first year I went. This is 18, right, Drew?
17 maybe.
No,
18 or 18. 18. It was 18. You're thinking 17 because it was January, right?
Probably.
So, yeah.
Yeah, because if it was at the Texas, it was 18. Because 17 was not at the Texas.
Yeah, that was the year me and Duncan drove the white truck.
So yeah, that was 18 then. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fucking 8 years ago or 6 years ago. That's a long time ago now. But yeah, that show got big and it kept getting bigger, and then COVID happened, and the last few years has just been different dates, moving it around. Didn't even do one last year, but then I think this is going to be the start of something really good. And having the car show portion, having my friends Michelle and Don run that is going to be, I think, what we need to get to the next level. It's an extra 100+ cars, and if that gets bigger and we keep getting bigger, and like you said, Bobby, with all these builds coming from across the country, outside of Slam, I don't think you're going to find a higher concentration of big builds. I mean, there's going to be probably 10 that are doing close to a 70. There's going to be 3 or 4 that are doing, probably 3 that are doing an 80. I mean, there's and then there's going to be 20 that are doing 60 pluses or 30. I mean, maybe more. So a lot of the big hitters. And I don't know if you guys have seen what some of these guys are doing back east before they come, which is why everybody's going like full steel, it seems like. That dude Britt, I don't know if I've met him in person or not, but I see he's doing 2212s in a full steel closure.
That's another one of those builds that I look at it and go, damn, that's gonna be crazy. They should really just build that on a gooseneck instead of putting it inside of a vehicle body.
Yeah, it's not as fun, dude. I mean, like, I drive mine around. I've driven around the last few days. Once I get the suspension done, like, they're still drivable. You just gotta, Hey, I could drive mine all over town if I want to. It just doesn't do much more than 50. I don't even know if I'd try to go 50. I'll go 35.
It's the stopping part that
Yeah.
That's really wild. Yeah.
yeah, that like when you can't stop at a red light and like someone in an extreme vehicle plows through like a fucking minivan with kids in it. It's the last time extreme vehicle touches the roads.
No, that's
Like
why
that's my concern.
it's a low rider that cruises. It does not go fast. So people pass me.
See, but you're smart.
far away.
I guarantee there are people out there mobbing full extreme, like full steel vehicles, like 90 on the interstate.
Yeah, it weighs fucking 17,000 pounds, and it's got like the stock brakes.
It has the stock brakes from
Nobody's doing
1933.
that.
Yeah, it's got fucking drums all the way around, and they're all like all the power brakes don't work anymore. The fucking something, I just fucking push.
I'm saying like the more like steel builds are becoming more popular, so more and more people have it.
I mean, Jim's going to when Bobby's done with it, but he's got like what? How big are his brakes? Those Willwoods you're throwing on there?
I don't think he's gonna have me go all steel. He wants it to be very, very, very drivable. Like it's got to be like no problem to drive it. So it's gonna have a cage, but it's gonna probably be wood structure built, unless of course he comes to the showdown and he's like, oh, it's got to do 180. I'm gonna be like, okay, cool.
The problem isn't the box. It's like steel cage, it's heavy, but it's not that heavy. It's the full steel interior where it gets heavy.
Yeah, I think if you just cage it, Bobby, and just kind of do what you did with the Soulgasm, it's drivable. Is that kind of the plan?
Yeah. Yes. It's significantly more. I mean, the Soulgasm drives really well. It really does. It's pretty cozy to drive. It's kind of heavy, but it brakes really well. I mean, the stock brakes are pretty big on that vehicle. So, but I mean, these fucking brakes I have down here. This
and it's a Cadillac ESV as well, right? Same rig.
This box is 21 inches wide.
So they're probably like 19-inch brakes, maybe.
That's crazy.
They're fucking huge.
What are we doing again? 918s?
918s, yeah.
918s.
918s with 7,100 at a half ohm on each one.
And
a
fourth. Oh,
fourth.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Single plane baffle, doing a V, don't know yet.
It will be I plan to have it kind of sloped, and I plan to have the drivers slightly, it'll be like a stagger stacked baffle, kind of like the Soulgasm, but it'll actually kind of be going the other way. So it'll be kind of flipped around, and the motors will be kind of pointed towards the front a little bit. So it'll be like 3 rows, stagger stacked, and on a slightly slanted plane.
I see.
And then,
is there a reason
have,
for that, or just aesthetically?
Aesthetic and a little bit of loading stuff that Papa Chris talks about a little bit.
Gotcha.
Chris
I have a slight angle to my baffle too, but I don't
Chris
have
Cooney.
Yeah.
He's a smart dude. And he was talking about Josh McDonough's build, and Josh said, he's like, hey, this, because they had a previous build in there that was flat, I guess, and then that was the primary change, was putting that slant, I guess. I think I'm right. I might be deriving from a few different conversations that I've had with them over the last year and a half to get that, but yeah.
I wonder if I did enough of an angle in mine. Mine drops 2 inches from back to front.
Yeah. Well, like one of the things that was really crazy, talking to the dude in Brazil, Alan Dante, he was talking about like fucking 6.8 degrees. And this is a different build, right? But they were, in the back of his fourth order kind of crazy build back there. But he's like, this is 6.8 degrees. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, sounds good. 6.8 it is. I'm like, you're one of the loudest fucking people ever. That piece of information is going to resonate with me. I'm going to remember that shit.
Joe, remember Joe Price's, the van Joe Price built?
I don't.
Kevin built, but whatever.
Whoever built it, but the one Joe Price had. Alfred, Bob, you have to remember it. He was metering people at Slam that one year, and there was that video with Brent Levin who killed his umbrella. Anyways, it had the
Oh,
all the
yeah,
Alpha
yeah.
15s.
Uh-huh.
That has that angle. He also had talked a lot about the angle, but he said one of the biggest things was the angle behind the subs. That this
That's
whole
to match
box
the
is all
baffle.
parallel. There's so like
Yep.
the angle in front is the same as the angle in the back. Even though there was room, the back wall is they're just parallel spot. It's
Yep.
just a
Because the
fucking
subs
like-
load evenly. Because if
That's
you
crazy.
don't if you
Some of these guys are talking about like not having anything be parallel because of this blah 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 standing waves thing. So that's kind of crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like you're like that guy does 170s and that guy does 170s, and they are literally
This guy
saying
does-
two different
this
things.
guy does 170s with a stock cabin. The guy that does 170s with an extreme cabin doesn't know shit. Tell him to kick rocks.
Well,
Yeah, he was telling me that it was some of the Russian guys
The
were
Russian guys told him what
really
fit.
pushing pretty hard for him to do is to have the rear wall mirror the baffle.
Yeah.
That and then also the other thing with what Munson said is they tried to get the center of that baffle as close to like equal distance from the port opening to the measuring point of the mic. So let's say it was like 40 inches from the mic to the opening of the port. They wanted the center of the baffle to also be 40 inches from the opening of the port.
Yep.
That's something Munson was talking about. I don't know, but obviously that guy knows what the hell he's talking about.
yeah, there's a lot.
Nathan Munson, Chris too, but this was years ago. Nathan Munson, something he was talking about.
Yep.
Yeah.
I try and tell people all this when I'm like, especially the lot like really big builds on design. I'm like, hey, we should do this. No, I want it to be like this. Okay. Like I'm not like friends with all these people and like have been hands on with all these builds, and I'm not telling you something for no reason.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a way to build shit for like optimum performance and efficiency. But a lot of people, like including myself, I didn't want less subs. I wanted 9. There's certain things I wanted, and it's just it outweighed the building it optimal. It's built well and it is pretty optimal for the 9, but I bet the Explorer would be louder if it was probably just 6.
Be more efficient, at least.
Yeah, I mean, might not be
The
windier.
quarter wave concepts coming to car audio. They've been here, dude. You think all these loud people got loud for no reason? They just didn't tell anybody for a very long time.
Yeah.
And if you think that the loud people are telling everybody everything, they're not. There's a whole bunch of information still not out there. There's just they're not telling people. Because one of the issues is what me and Bobby talked about before. If they tell people, they're gonna have dumbasses argue with them, and it's just not worth the headache. So I just won't tell anybody. Isn't that right, Max? Yep.
So, you guys think if I want the Explorer to play best with both doors open, that I'm going to need to close the port up from all sides?
I would shrink
I
towards
think
the
that's
middle.
my wife right there. And she's saying I drove the Soulgasm out to Steve's. No problem. Baby, I think we had a couple problems. We lost that alternator belt and took out that coolant hose and just spilled a little coolant out.
I'm also not talking about the Soul Guys. I'm talking about Duncan's van.
Yeah.
You think just start from the bottom, Drew, with the port?
No, I would start from the sides.
And go in?
Go towards the middle, because if you want both doors open, you want to load from the middle.
Yeah, that makes sense. If it's both doors open, then yes. Yep. Drew, it probably over the weekend I will have a primary design for Jerry's enclosure, and I'll send that to you, and you can go over some of that with me.
Cool. An IV build. So with 218s, there's a local guy near me, Brad Knobloch, has 218s IB in his Jeep. It does like a 135, 15 feet behind the vehicle. It's ignorant. Peaks at 17 hertz in the Jeep, and it's stupid. It's so goofy. But he's an extreme type of fella. It's an SQ vehicle, but he likes loud. So his mid bass are two 10-inch somethings IB in the kick. He cut the kicks out. Did 2 10-inch mid bases, IB in the kicks, 2 6.5s in the dash for mid range that he cut into the dash, and then these big Dyne Audio tweeters like right on the sails. This thing is so loud.
It'd be cool to
So
see
we'll
more
have
IB builds come through.
Well, we have the Challenger that like has been quite challenging for me.
Stop it.
You guys have had that for a while now.
It
Still have
is.
that?
It's tough, man. And like, you know, the customer's like, I want you to do things you've never done before. And I'm like, all right. And then I like design some crazy shit. And then I'm like, I don't know if I love it yet. And I like keep opening the file up and I look at it. And then I'm like, I don't love it. And I like fucking start again. And then every time I give everything a little bit of time. And like, so the things that we have done, like the doors are fucking badass. And I love them. And the IB steel structure. So the back seat still functions. And the trunk is completely sealed off, and it's fucking sick. And there's a bunch of steel, and it's all welded up, all badass. And like the amps are gonna go in the back of the trunk is looking amazing. And then like the design for the roof, I finally like it a lot. And I'm gonna like it's one of those things. Early tomorrow morning, I'm supposed to open that file, study it, and then I'm gonna send the like rendering to the customer and be like, "This is the crazy shit I'm gonna build on your roof." And I fucking hope he loves it. I love it. And it looks fucking nuts. And I'll share it with you guys next week because we'll hopefully be building some of this stuff then. And then the A-pillars I've designed, like we even made a whole set. They're all shaped. It looks pretty cool. It's like kind of, but they're like, oh, my tweeter loading's a little funny. I don't like it. Let's set those aside. I got some new A-pillars. And then I designed these crazy ass pillars last week. And I 3D printed this little jig to machine the acrylic in. And it's some wild shit I've never done before. But I don't know if I love it or not. And I showed it to Colt early this morning. He's like, that's going to be fucking sick. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I like it a little bit more. So then I need to like create the rendering and I just send it to the customer and maybe I'll show it to you guys and be like, what do you guys think? And like, I don't know. It's so hard when shit is crazy looking and it's elaborate, even though I'm like, I know how to make it. And like the process of doing it is this crazy series of steps. I get a little bit like, is it too fucking much? Or is it like, is the end worth all of the means? Whereas the customer is like, build crazy ass shit that you've never done before, make it fucking awesome. And I'm okay with paying extra for that. I still want it to be fucking outstanding and beautiful and striking. And I don't want it to look like I worked the shit out of it for the sake of working the shit out of it.
You see a bunch of stuff like that. People usually look like they did shit just to do shit.
Yeah.
And you're like, come on, man.
So like the doors, what I love about the doors is it's got a shallow mount 10-inch.
4 doors, right?
Yeah, no, it's got 2 doors. It's Challenger.
4 doors for more horse.
It's 2 doors for 1 horse. I don't know, whatever the fuck. It's got a shallow mount, a TW310 in each
What up,
door,
Carlos?
in a sealed box, right? The door handle on the inside is in the exact stock location. Same with the window and mirror controls on both sides. All of the controls, everything functions the same. But this door panel that has 2 6.5s, 4 3-inch mids, and 4 compression horn tweeters, and a 10-inch sub in a sealed box, and the 6.5s are in a sealed box as well, has all the full function that it would normally have. The acrylic panel that'll go over it, it's fucking nuts. And I love it. I love the fucking doors. They're going to be really fun. And it's just, so it doesn't look like I did a whole bunch just to do it there. It looks like that's fucking cool. There's a purpose to it. I've never done that shit before. It's fucking awesome.
Hell yeah.
The pillars, like, let me see if I can show you guys what. Let's see. Maybe you guys can kind of pick up what I'm putting down here. But so this component will get, adhered to the A pillar, and it has a little channel for lights here. LEDs will go in here. Now this purple piece will actually be a machined piece of clear acrylic. Okay. And that will fit into here somehow. It goes in here. Well, it doesn't go all the way in here because it's kind of fucky, but So
It's upside down.
this goes in here, right? And the tweeters are kind of, so it's like this, and they're kind of pointed at me. They're kind of stagger stacked, right? The way that this will get machined, right, is the piece of acrylic will be, face down on the table. It'll machine this outside. It'll make the primary outside shape. And then I have a jig that goes on the CNC, this 3D printed jig, and this piece of acrylic will then go in there. And this piece is a little bigger because it's made to fit tight in there without the lights, right? So then I can machine these because they're all flat, and I can machine the inside of this with a 22.5-degree angled cutter, and then I can shape the outside of this fucking thing with a tiny little ball end. So it will work, and it's this fucking crazy elaborate shape, and that should have a really beautiful machine finish, so it'll light up and glow like a motherfucker. But
Hell yeah, dude.
I don't know. I don't know if I love it or
Wow.
not.
Well, there's only one way to know.
Yeah, I mean, I thought this was good enough to know, and I made all these fucking parts for us to stare at. I don't know. When I showed it to Colt, he was like, "That's gonna be fucking sick, dude." I'm like, "Okay, cool, fucking all right." And it's gonna have a hexagonal pattern. Everybody wants hexagons now. Hexagonal patterns on the doors. Those are obviously a hexagonal shaped thing, and the whole roof will have a bunch of crazy hexagons. I went over some of this with Jim. I talked to him on the phone about it like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. So anyway, that's what's going on.
Hell yeah. I'm after I finish this port, the one I'm printing for Rome, I'm gonna finally finish printing all the parts for the Duramax pillars and bring that down to Ryan, the guy who just opened his shop down here, and let him take a crack at these Duramax pillars. See what he can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the only fab guy within like a 3 hours. Audio center, but yeah, like he looks up to you a lot, Chris, over the mobile toys. Like he wants to build the Gately Audio of Louisiana and the mobile toys of Louisiana all in one.
Nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
Oh yeah.
But the Duramax pillars are gonna be funky to say the least because they're so big.
Yeah.
Well, boys.
Oh, so these are basically on. There you go, Bobby.
Nice.
That's what's up. That was great. Yeah, Glenn's going to be pretty stoked. Once I have that thing in my hands, I'll schedule him to get in here. I don't know if we're going to bring the Slam Halen or not. We were thinking about it. We were actually talking about having Jerry tow it down there. But we'll have the monkey box. I'll be towing the monkey box down behind the van, and Eric will tow the Soulgasm for me behind the F-250. And then there's a possibility I'll talk to Glenn after we're going to make some upgrades. Obviously, we're going to build some little dash pods for the Slam Halen, and we're going to put in the MVI DSP. So that could be kind of awesome. And then I'll see if he's cool with having the homie Jerry tow that thing down there. And then
I should be able to ship this out tomorrow.
Oh, cool.
I made a boo-boo when printing. I knocked out these holes on the back. They're supposed to be solid. All right, that one.
Okay.
It's supposed to be solid. No, it's not fine. It's not right.
Okay, it's not fine.
I mean, you won't see it, but like
Did I show you guys?
this is what
Sorry.
mounts to the wall, right? This plate, and then the big box slides over it. So see it anyway.
Nice. Did I show you guys the lot layout I mocked up?
Last week we talked about it a little bit. I don't know if you laid it out any further than where you were at. What do we got? Let's talk. Where are we?
I haven't set any of the booths yet because once I find out, I'm going to wait till a couple weeks before the show so I know exactly who's coming, what size booth they need. But I do have like an idea of what it's going to look like, though. Now I got to find it. Let's see here. Gotta be this one.
So while Steve's doing that, I had to take the L7Xs out of Tyson's truck to put in this box for photos. I didn't have to do it, but I wanted to have the box with right. And so we made a quick, simple baffle assembly to put in there to do a test, and we put two Sundown X12s, but we were wired at a 0.5 ohm in that same box that I make for the Kicker subs, but it's almost perfect for X's as well, right? Yeah. I mean, yes, it's like we're cheating. We went from 1 ohm to a 0.5 ohm, but holy fuck, man. It went from like, it does a little bit of a hair trick. That's pretty cool to like fucking wild badass. This shit is in the 50s for sure on 212s. Out of the back of that
when you double power
8,000 fucking watts to 212s, it's fucking getting it. It was really, it's really fucking impressive. So I think I'm going to keep those L7s out of that, and I'm designing a box right now for 3 of our Alpha version 2 Gately Audio 12s, and I'm going to use our dual 3 ohm version so that we wire to a 0.5 ohm. So now we'll have 3 12s in about the same size space, but internal volume is a little bit larger because I'm utilizing where I had the coupling port assembly as more box space, right? So the footprint of the box is slightly smaller, but the overall internal volume is slightly bigger, and sub up port back configuration.
Have you tried messing around with the sub up port back in that? Because usually SUVs.
That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do in this one. Yeah.
Nice.
Now, Ford Explorers seem to be better with sub and port facing back. From a couple of experiences that I had, and a competitor that was local that had me build a pretty wild custom box for him. And he was like, I'm getting better numbers with sub and port back. Every box that I've fucking done, every one. Okay, well, let's do that then. So, but otherwise, I figure a Forerunner is going to follow that case. Also, Tyson did a really nice job of reinforcing the roof with birch in that Forerunner because it was struggling. So, yeah.
Was it?
Yeah,
for sure. All right, can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't know if I showed you this last time or not, but I think I did because I talked about how long these were. Maybe not. Maybe it was somebody else.
I think so.
But yeah, so the vendor area is going to run right through here. So if you're a vendor that's going to be demoing a lot, we're going to kind of start the heaviest demo vendors up here and go quieter as you go down. And then
so if you're all the way on the one side, just know you got shit.
So all this area is going to be super loud, hard to hear anybody. And then it'll be a little quieter down here. But yeah. And I got some pretty good food coming. Got a nice taco lady, got a barbecue dude. And this other person, they do like finger foods, like fried foods and stuff. So it should be good. I have a couple porta potties for us to be in. So
I saw Jerry asked if I'm going, and that is the plan. That is the same weekend as Brandy's industry award thing. So I'm having to see when that is, like, see exactly when I can make, like, when everything is. The Addies is their yearly thing, and we always go. So,
Jess, this could be something that might be cool to do on Sunday, where it's we don't have the comp lane set up. We could have you guys set up where the lanes are, and we could do a whole little live feed there if you want to do that. That might be kind of cool. Might even want to bring a couple different subs, depending on how much time you guys want to do, put into it. But that could be neat.
Bro, that is the coolest live stream. I love it.
Yeah, I'm going to have to hit Carlos and Jess up a little bit later and see if they're going to be doing more watch parties. I saw a couple of the dudes there were hanging out today watching shit. I'll come by. I got broken foot. I'm not working. I need to get out of this house. So I'll come by and watch you guys blow some shit up.
Well, hopefully nothing blows up.
True.
But dude, yeah, what do y'all think? What sub is going to take down the U? What do you think?
Whatever Jacob's about to send them.
Probably.
Yeah.
I want to see the compact in there with a normal, I know not normal, but not RP Patel soft parts.
I wonder if any of the subs are going to be louder than the sub that the enclosure was designed for. We'll see.
I think it'll be a compact V2 or V3 that gets it in the end.
I know the number of a single sub that they were using. I know a number. I don't think it was the highest number, but there's still some ways to go. So, but we'll see what I know. Jacob said he wants to send him some sort of Neo. So
yeah, he was talking about the other day.
I don't know about the thing about the basket that they use. Well, what are the compacts on? Are they on the normal big ass basket?
They can be on anything.
Yeah, I just wonder, because I know the normal sundown basket, or the one that uses for X's and above, they're big, they're deep, they're tall baskets. So I don't think they fit quite right in Carlos's box. I think he has to build rings for them for the motor.
He's probably going to send it on the U basket.
That's probably the best way to go, huh?
Yeah. But I know that the coil, finding the right coil has been a struggle, because they have dual quarter ohm coils or something goofy low, but can't send that.
That's wild.
Well, I'm hungry. I'm gonna go get some food. You guys gonna keep going? You guys want to cut it off?
I'm gonna go home and have dinner and get ready for fucking bed. I'm trying to get back here at 5 o'clock in the morning because I got a ton of shit to do.
I'm about to button this up. Well, I'm gonna plug everything in. I have an MVI mounted to the wall right here for testing stuff that I'm gonna hook this up to, and then see if it works.
Sweet. Yeah. Next week, I'll show you guys all the crazy shit we've done in the shop over there. We're expanding right now, so we're going to be done with all the demo by the end of tomorrow, and hopefully by Wednesday next week, we'll have some of the electrical done and have it be way more functional over there. And then Tyson, with a little bit of help from Colt, has been setting up a fucking badass Max cart, is what we're calling it, but it's got. It's got, one of our 5,700 watt amps on it. It's got one of our 5 channels on it. It's got an MVI 606, power supply, lithium battery, little badass Bluetooth module JL thing. It's got multiple different signal things and a computer and the Mac system on it. And it looks fucking cool. So
hell yeah.
Pretty stoked about that thing. It's quite the investment.
Yeah. Have you taken your Mac certification test yet?
No, I have 8 days left.
I was about to say you got 8 days.
Yeah, I got 8 days. Matt was sending me messages. I'm like, God damn it, I gotta put. What I'll do is have like Tyson. I'll be like, take me through the test. Okay, now I've done the test 10 fucking times in a row with Tyson, and then I'll just take it because I haven't been doing the tunes. Tyson does them all because it's I walk over hey, you guys ready to tune this? They're like, yeah, it's done. It's listen. And I'm like, oh, no, you should have said something. I'm like, you're done already. You fuckers. So, but all right, kid. Fucking love you guys. I appreciate everything. I'm looking forward to that Gizmo, Drew, and everybody else. Go fix your engine noise and be nice to people. All that shit. Yeah.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. See you next week.
Later.
Later.